Hello, this is Sky. I'll be here with you until sleep. You don't need to listen closely. You can drift off whenever you like. There's nothing to get right tonight. For now, just let yourself be held by the sound of my voice. Let's begin. Before we go any further, let's arrive here together for a moment. You might be listening from bed, or perhaps from a sofa, or somewhere else you've chosen to rest tonight. However your day has been, however your mind feels right now, you're welcome here, exactly as you are. There's nothing you need to change before sleep comes. Sometimes the mind is busy at night. Sometimes the body is still holding the day. And sometimes we're simply tired in a way that words don't quite capture. Whatever is here for you tonight, it's all right. For those of you who like returning to the same place at night, there's a membership with ad-free listening and a few longer episodes to rest with. It's there if and when you want it. The link is in the description. You don't need to listen closely to anything I say. You can let my voice drift in and out of your awareness, the way a distant conversation might. And if you fall asleep halfway through, that's more than welcome. We'll just take things slowly from here. And now, dear ones, I invite you to settle with me. Settle into the bed or the couch or the chair or the place that you are going to sleep. Adjusting what needs adjusting. Perhaps making the blankets just right. perhaps shifting your body so it's a little bit more comfortable. Making sure everything is just so you can relax and let go. Everything that I say is always invitational, and I invite you to allow your body to become heavy, allowing it to fall and melt into the bed, allowing it to be held. If you do a lot of holding, now is the time to be held. There's nothing left to do. No one else to care for but you in this moment. Because, dear one, you deserve sleep. You deserve to rest, to let go. Perhaps if you hold a lot for others in your job or your family or your community, imagine lifting that off of your chest, off of your shoulders, off of your back, setting it aside for now. There's nothing you need to get right, and there's nothing you can get wrong in this place. You are welcome just as you are. You're allowed to be held, supported. You're allowed to rest here. And I invite you to sigh if that feels right. To breathe, release, letting go into the bed, allowing it to drip down away, away from your body, away from your mind, letting it go through the floor into the earth, letting it flow out of the window where it's captured by the air, blown away, turned into little sparkling droplets that rain onto the earth and are composted away, allowing it to drip down, away, away from your body, away from your mind, letting it go through the floor into the earth, letting it flow out of the window where it's captured by the air. And now, dear ones, I'd like to tell you about a time I went to a beach. I have been to many different beaches, but this one was different to the other beaches, as they all are different in their own way. This one had fossils in the rocks on the shore. To get to this beach, I had to walk past a duck pond that had no ducks in it, and past some very old houses with yards and chickens in their garden, past a babbling stream with green plants all around it, following the stream on the path. It became farmland with fields of crops. The path I was following went between two fields. This path was very muddy. Walking along the very edge of the path, I tiptoed on the small spots of grass. I was trying not to get mud on my shoes. I had forgotten my wellies, not knowing that I would be needing them. To get to the beach, on this path that I was going along. You see, this was my first time here. I could see the water, the ocean, but still, there was a little way to go. The path began to descend until I came to a fork. I wondered which way to go. Which way would have the least mud? I went down to the left, around a grass-covered boulder, until it met back up with the main path. After meeting with the main path, I walked a little bit farther until I came to metal steps. These steps were slippery and steep. This was the last obstacle before setting foot on the beach. At the bottom of the steps was many large rocks, very beautiful rocks of different formations. If I was a geologist, I could tell you what the formations were. But I am not. What I do know is the way they looked and the way they felt and the way that it felt being there. My first thought was, wow, this is so beautiful. And I was taken by the sheer beauty of this place. It felt very old, ancient. I could see the water gently lapping at the rocks in the distance. There was no big waves here, just the water coming up to the rocks, gently lapping and kissing them. To my right was a cliff wall that came down and then around. Out of the cliff wall, I saw a small cascade of water. The effect was charming. I wanted to get close. I wanted to peek into the hole where the water poured out. After watching the water, I slowly moved off toward the left. Once I got past the bigger boulders, the rocks on the beach drastically changed. It looked like massive horseshoes that sloped on an angle. Horseshoe upon horseshoe, as far as the eye could see. Now these horseshoes went up and down and up and down and up and down. They were all on an angle. The ups were all around the same height, but the downs could be different. There were pools of water in the downs with small rocks and seaweed and sea creatures. And the closer I got toward the big water, the more I saw different types of seaweed. Some were a deep, deep purple with long, fat fingers. Some were a mossy green. Some were wispy and pink. There was even places with sand, and I wondered if the rocks had worn away, or if the sand was brought in by the tide. Looking around, I could see there were limpets Limpets are creatures that live in shells, mollusks. They attach themselves to rocks. Many limpets, and there were other places in the rock that looked like some other creature used to be there. And I wondered what that might be. It wasn't until a little while later, climbing over other rocks, I saw an oyster. And then I saw half an oyster shell. And it was the exact shape of the other holes I had seen. So I knew that these rocks could have been covered with oysters. Yet now they were nearly all gone. It was so wonderful to be standing right at the edge where the rock and the water meet. Watching the water lap against the rocks, I heard their sound. The sound of the water tickling the rocks, kissing the rocks, and I enjoyed the peace of this gentle old place. The sun peeked out from behind a cloud. It was so lovely. The beams of light were broken up through the cloud, and I could see them shining down. Some of the beams went off into the water, some on the shore, and some on the land. I sat on a rock to admire this gift, this gorgeous place that we call home. This little ball spinning through space, And here I was, tiny little me, on this ball, on a beach, spinning through space. I was enjoying the peace, the ease that I felt. And after a while, I felt that I wanted to discover more. So I began to walk in a southwest direction, up and down, and down, up and down, over the rocks. And then, to my delight, I noticed a fossil in the rock, swirly, circular, spiraling fossil. The imprint of a being in a rock. I am always amazed about the things that I have found on this ball, spinning through space. I thought this beach seemed old, and here was the proof that things have been here for a long, long time. Things had been here long ago, before people, swimming in these waters. The same waters that we have now. And I wonder what memories all this water holds. I was amazed and so honored to be here, to witness these things. I continued walking for quite a way, just enjoying the scenery. I tried not to step on the seaweed in case there was creatures in it. On I went until a ways down I noticed a waterfall coming out on the side of the cliff face from up above. So I wandered over that way. It was not as big as some waterfalls are, but it was enough to be special and fun. And I was glad I had walked over there. Along the way, I saw loads more fossils in the rocks. And there, next to the waterfall, up high on the cliff face, was a nest. I noticed it because I saw a bird swoop out of the nest and fly into the sky, flying so quickly. A peregrine falcon. They are such fast flyers. Out and away, and then back to the nest. Joy upon joy. So many things to wonder about on this day. As it started to get later, I noticed the water was getting closer and closer. The tide was coming in. This explained all the puddles and pools that were farther in from the water line. The tide must come right up and fill these pools. I decided to head back. When I looked in the direction that I had come, it seemed very far indeed. I could not see the steps that I came down. So I walked back. Sometimes I was close to the level where the water met the rocks. And sometimes the puddles were so deep and big that I had to double back and go around, going up and down, and up and down, over the rocks. Sometimes stopping to look at a fossil. Sometimes stopping to look at what was in the water. I wound my way back And finally, I saw the metal steps. It was slow going over the large boulders. Because I never knew which one would be loose. Carefully treading over the boulders, back to the steps. Up and up I went. The sun now on the other side of the hill. I couldn't see it anymore. Yet there was still a bit of light. I walked back around the boulder with grass on it and met up with the muddy path. Slip, slop, slip, slop. Through the muddy path, making my way back, passing the fields of crops. Nearly back now. Off to the right, the hill sloped up, and I noticed horses and sheep, and someone was riding a horse. I carried on, meeting up with the small stream, gently trickling over some small stones, and back past the chickens, past the pond, and back to the place I started. And that, dear one, was a story about a beautiful beach that I had found. As the story settles now, you can let the mind loosen its grip on it. There's nothing to remember and nothing to follow. Just the quiet space that comes after words. Your body might already be drifting toward sleep. Or perhaps you're simply resting here for a while longer. Both are completely fine. The night has a way of carrying us when we stop trying so hard. so you can let everything soften a little bit now. Nothing more is required of you tonight. And I'll stay here quietly with you for a little while longer. And now, if you're already asleep, keep resting. If you're still awake, that's okay too. You can let this episode play again or move on to the next one. I'll be right here. Good night.